Hey, everybody. Welcome to Red Carpet Healthcare Solutions Private Practice Podcasters. I'm your host, Dr. Ryan Molley, along with my co-host,
Travis Bazell.
And today we have a great guest. All of our guests and the theme of this podcast is really centered around how do we influence physicians, particularly those that are interested in private practice. Maybe they're currently employed or previously employed, and they are looking for freedom, right? They want to get those golden handcuffs off. They want to be able to thrive on their own clock and have that autonomy. But tonight's guest, I'm super excited. I've been interacting with him through LinkedIn and just some private phone conversations and text messages about some other interesting projects. But without further ado, Matthew Ray Scott.
Welcome.
Hey, it's great to be here. I really appreciate the opportunity. I've had the opportunity to listen to your other podcast, and knowing many of those folks that you interviewed, I'm getting ready to lower the standard of excellence pretty quickly. So I'll do my best.
Well, I got to say, just from the look of that beard, I don't believe a word of that. So
I'm lowering the standard of our own podcast because I don't have a beard like you guys. Travis and I were just reading your bio that you sent over. I'd like to really start there just because I don't think that who you are today is best understood if we don't understand who you were 20, 25, 30 years ago, because you have such an interesting background, and I'm not going to do it justice. So why don't you just share from the beginning?
Yeah. Unconventional foundations provide for conventional opportunities for sure. And I saw it as a real challenge. It's kind of like what you talked about, Dr. Molley, that modern day surgeons are a brand by default. And once modern day surgeons understand the definition of modern day branding and understand that it's leading with self-awareness and not self-promotion, and once they understand, like the listeners of your podcast, the dynamics of how to earn attention and how to develop know, like, and trust, it's as practical as anything that you could be doing as a surgeon. But the word branding comes with head trash. For Dr. Molley and those like him, trust is his currency and his reputation is his bank account.
I love that.
And so if you anchor that phrase and you live it out, then it goes back to what's the modern definition of branding. And, the modern definition for Dr. Molley and those like him is it's who you say you are, doctor, who your patients say you are, and who Google says you are. And so we position Dr. Palmer as the trusted guide in that Joseph Campbell's hero's journey, and we turn that robot into a verb. And we developed a branded and proprietary protocol, 7 years worth of data, that all of his public-facing communications are in alignment with where the data points that Mrs. Jones, when she has a choice, here's what's important to her to choose the Dr. Molleys, the Chris Palmers of the world. Yeah. So what my agency's focused on, everybody thinks we're focused on what to say. And I say, we're focused on what patients hear. And if you're obsessed with what patients hear under the communication delta of what you say and what patients hear, it's not always the same. And the other thing that we learned in our data is that patients, because you passed organic chemistry and you've got fancy initials at the end of your name,
barely,
they will not ask you questions at the risk of them appearing ignorant or embarrassed. So we learned this through our data. So even in a situation where, I have pain and I'm coming to you, it's a big decision that I'm getting ready to make. I have to trust that what you're recommending is what I need and what I don't need. And then I got to trust that you're the craftsman that's going to do that. So if you buy into that trust narrative, Video is the trust trigger that makes Dr. Ryan Molley the surgeon that seemingly never sleeps.
Just want to thank you for your time. Matt, again, thank you for your time. Trav, always a pleasure.
Always. Appreciate it.
If I could do the microphone drop, I would, but red
Thank you,
carpet
gentlemen.
out.
Out.